Picture this. It's 6:30 in the morning. The light hasn't quite broken through the kitchen window yet, but there's already something happening on the stove. Something ancient. A pot is simmering, and the smell rising from it isn't the sharp chemical tang of a factory floor or the hollow nothingness of a plastic capsule dissolving in water. No, it smells like the earth. Roots, leaves, bark, things that grew in dirt, drank rain, stretched toward the sun. There's a woman standing over that pot. Her name is Ruth. She's 68 years old. She's not squinting at a nutrition label. She's not Googling best supplements for liver health. She's doing what her grandmother did, what her great-grandmother did before that, what human beings have been doing for thousands and thousands of years. Long before anyone ever thought to put wellness into a capsule and sell it to you at $49.95 a month. She's making medicine from plants. And here's the thing that nobody in the supplement industry wants you to sit with for too long. What Ruth is doing in that kitchen might actually be more effective than most of what's sitting in your medicine cabinet right now. Now, I know that's a bold statement, so let's talk about it. Before we get to the herbs themselves, you need to understand something about the industry that's been selling you an alternative. The U.S. nutritional supplements market was valued at approximately $112 billion in 2024. That's not a small number. That's bigger than the GDP of some countries. Yet in roughly 75% of American adults now report taking some form of dietary supplement. That's 3 out of every 4 people you pass on the street. Now, here's where it gets uncomfortable. Under current regulations, the FDA does not approve dietary supplements for safety or effectiveness before they hit store shelves. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's how the law works. The Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act of 1994 shifted the burden so that manufacturers are responsible for ensuring their own products are safe. The FDA can only step in after a product is already on the market, and usually only after enough adverse events have been reported. What that means in practice is this: a company can isolate a single molecule, put it in a capsule, create some compelling marketing language, and sell it to millions of people. And nobody in any governmental agency has verified that it does what the label suggests it does. Compare that to an herb, a whole plant, not one molecule, but hundreds of compounds working together. Flavonoids, terpenes, alkaloids, polyphenols, vitamins, minerals, and dozens of phytochemicals that scientists are still cataloging. When you consume a whole herb, you're not getting a single note played on a piano. You're getting the entire orchestra performing a symphony. And that distinction, that concept of synergy, is the foundation of why holistic practitioners have relied on herbs for centuries and continue to do so today. So, with that context, let's walk through 25 of them. Not exotic powders shipped from the other side of the planet. Not trendy ingredients repackaged in pastel branding. Are herbs that have been used for centuries, many of which are supported by modern clinical research, and most of which might already be growing within a mile of where you're sitting right now. Number 1, dandelion. Yes, the thing you've been pulling out of your lawn. Dandelion, Taraxacum officinale, is one of the most quietly powerful plants in the world. Its leaves are rich in potassium, the root supports bile production and liver function, and the whole plant acts as a gentle diuretic. Unlike many pharmaceutical diuretics that strip your body of essential minerals, dandelion appears to replenish potassium even as it helps your body release excess fluid. Research has indicated potential benefits for blood pressure and kidney support. Number 2, nettle. If there were a plant that deserved the title of nature's multivitamin, stinging nettle would be the front runner. Loaded with iron, calcium, magnesium, and vitamin C, nettle has been used traditionally for allergies, joint inflammation, and as a spring tonic to replenish the body after the depletion of winter. And unlike iron tablets, which are notorious for causing constipation and stomach upset, nettle delivers its iron alongside dozens of cofactors that help your body absorb and use it gently. Number 3, elderberry. This one has been the subject of real clinical attention. A meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials published in Complementary Therapies in Medicine found that standardized elderberry supplementation was associated with a meaningful reduction in both the duration and severity of upper respiratory symptoms. One earlier trial with 60 participants showed that symptoms resolved an average of 4 days sooner in the elderberry group compared to placebo. That said, a larger and more rigorous 2020 trial of 87 emergency room patients found no significant benefit, so the picture is still developing. What we can say is that elderberry contains anthocyanins with documented immunomodulatory properties, and it has a long history of traditional use for colds and flu. Number 4, garlic. Garlic isn't just something you toss into a pan when you're making pasta. It's a genuine pharmacological powerhouse. It has demonstrated the ability to modestly lower blood pressure and cholesterol in clinical settings. It has antimicrobial activity, and research continues into its anti-cancer potential. The key compound, allicin, is produced when fresh garlic is crushed or chopped, and it's largely destroyed by the kind of processing that turns garlic into a pill, which means the real thing. The raw clove is where the magic lives. Number 5, ginger. Ginger tea has been compared to anti-nausea medications in clinical settings, particularly for morning sickness and motion sickness, and has held its own remarkably well. It's also a potent anti-inflammatory, and many women around the world rely on it for menstrual cramp relief. The whole root, grated into hot water, delivers a spectrum of gingerols and shogals that work together in ways a single compound extract struggles to replicate. Number 6, turmeric. This one has attracted enormous research interest. A multi-center randomized controlled trial out of Thailand involving 367 patients with knee osteoarthritis found that 1,500 milligrams per day of Curcuma domestica extracts performed comparably to 1,200 milligrams per day of ibuprofen for pain reduction, with fewer gastrointestinal side effects. A 2021 review of 15 randomized controlled trials referenced by the Arthritis Foundation found curcumin relieved osteoarthritis pain and stiffness comparably to or better than NSAIDs. The important caveat, bioavailability is poor on its own. Piperine from black pepper and dietary fat dramatically increase absorption, which is why the traditional preparation, cooked into food with fat and spice, may be more effective than a bare capsule. Number 7, peppermint. There's a reason your grandmother reached for peppermint tea when your stomach hurt. Peppermint soothes smooth muscle in the digestive tract, relieves tension headaches when applied topically, and enteric-coated peppermint oil capsules have been clinically shown to significantly reduce symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome. Number 8, chamomile. Far more than a bedtime ritual, chamomile has demonstrated anxiolytic effects in clinical research. Studies have shown it can reduce symptoms of generalized anxiety disorder, working through mild modulation of GABA receptors. It also supports digestion and has anti-inflammatory properties that make it a genuinely versatile plant. Number 9, lemon balm. This gentle mint family herb calms the mind, supports mood, and soothes the digestive system. Research has explored its capacity to improve cognitive function and reduce agitation in patients with dementia, making it a plant with applications that extend far beyond a pleasant cup of tea. Number 10, ashwagandha. Classified as an adaptogen, ashwagandha helps the body modulate its stress response. Clinical trials have shown it can lower cortisol levels, improve sleep quality, and enhance energy without the jittery crash you get from stimulants. Number 11, holy basil. Also known as tulsi, holy basil is another adaptogen with deep roots in Ayurvedic medicine. It has been traditionally used for blood sugar regulation, immune support, and anxiety relief, and modern research continues to explore its cardiovascular protective effects. Number 12, milk thistle. When it comes to liver support, milk thistle stands in a category of its own. Its active compound, simmering, has been studied for its hepatoprotective properties and has shown promise in supporting liver function for patients with conditions like hepatitis and cirrhosis. Number 13, hawthorn. Hawthorn, the berry, the leaf, the flower, has been used for centuries to strengthen the cardiovascular system. so clinical trials have investigated its potential to improve symptoms of heart failure, reduce blood pressure, and support healthy circulation. Number 14, valerian. This root has been studied as a sleep aid and has performed comparably to certain sedative medications in some trials without the associated risk of dependency or next-day grogginess. It contains a complex mixture of compounds that collectively calm the nervous system. Number 15, skullcap, a gentle nervine used for anxiety, insomnia, and muscle tension. Research has suggested it can ease symptoms of generalized anxiety and support restful sleep. Number 16, passion flower, another nervine. Passion flower has been studied for anxiety and insomnia, and some clinical trials have found it comparable to certain anxiolytic medications. It has also been explored for supporting withdrawal from addictive substances. Number 17, licorice root. A soothing herb for the gut, licorice root supports the mucosal lining of the stomach and has antiviral properties. It's been traditionally used for ulcers, chronic coughs, and adrenal support. Number 18, slippery elm. The inner bark of slippery elm is a demulcent. It creates a soothing, protective coating over irritated tissues. Used for sore throats, coughs, and gastrointestinal distress, it works by protecting and calming rather than suppressing. Number 19, marshmallow root. Similar to slippery elm in its demulcent action, but marshmallow root soothes dry coughs, heartburn, and urinary tract irritation through a gentle mucilaginous coating that supports the body's own healing mechanisms. Number 20, yarrow. One of the oldest known medicinal plants, yarrow has been used for wound care, fever reduction, and as a first aid herb for thousands of years. Its styptic properties help slow bleeding, and it supports the body's inflammatory response. Number 21, plantain, not the banana relative, the broadleaf herb that grows in cracks in sidewalks everywhere. Plantain leaf draws out foreign material from wounds, soothes insect bites, and promotes skin healing with anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial properties. Number 22, calendula. Sometimes called pot marigold, a calendula is a clinician-grade skin healer. Studies have explored its ability to speed wound healing post-surgery and reduce inflammation. It fights infection topically and supports the body's repair processes. Number 23, echinacea, the classic immune herb. Echinacea has been the subject of considerable study for its ability to reduce the duration and severity of upper respiratory infections. While results across studies have been mixed, there's enough evidence to understand why it remains one of the most widely used herbal remedies in the world. Number 24, St. John's wort. This is perhaps the most clinically validated herb on the entire list. A meta-analysis of 27 clinical trials involving 3,808 patients found that St. John's wort demonstrated comparable response and remission rates to standard SSRIs for mild to moderate depression, with a significantly lower dropout rate due to side effects. Another meta-analysis of 14 trials with 2,270 patients reached similar conclusions. The National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health notes important caveats. It wasn't effective for moderate severity major depression in one large trial, and it can have serious interactions with other medications, including certain antidepressants, but for mild to moderate cases, the evidence is substantial. Number 25, red clover, a gentle blood builder and hormone balancer. Red clover has been traditionally used for menopausal symptoms, skin conditions, and as a detoxifying spring tonic. Its isoflavones have attracted research attention for their estrogen-modulating activity. Here's the thread that runs through every single one of those 25 herbs: complexity. A turmeric root contains curcuminoids, yes, but it also contains volatile oils, fiber, and dozens of other compounds that influence how your body processes the curcuminoids. An elderberry contains anthocyanins, but also flavonols, phenolic acids, and terpenes that work in concert. When the supplement industry isolates one compound and standardizes it into a capsule, it strips away that context. And context, it turns out, matters enormously. It's why the Arthritis Foundation specifically noted that turmeric's curcumin content is only about 2 to 6% of the whole root, meaning the traditional preparation in food with fat and pepper delivers the compound in a fundamentally different biological environment than a capsule does. This doesn't mean supplements are useless. For specific deficiencies in specific clinical contexts, supplements absolutely have a role. But the notion that a pill is inherently superior to a plant, that's a marketing story, not a scientific one. If any of this resonates with you, the path forward is simpler than you might expect. Teas and infusions are the oldest and most accessible form of herbal medicine. A tablespoon of dried herb, steeped in hot water for 10 to 20 minutes, taken daily. Tinctures offer a more concentrated option. Poultices and salves work beautifully for skin issues. Syrups made with honey are a time-honored remedy for coughs and respiratory complaints. And many of these herbs aren't exotic. Dandelion, nettle, garlic, ginger, turmeric. These are foods as much as they are medicines. Start with one or two. Pay attention to how your body responds. Build your understanding slowly. There's something quietly radical about making your own tea from a plant you recognize, about trusting knowledge that existed long before any of us were born, about recognizing that the most potent remedies on earth weren't invented in a boardroom. They evolved alongside us, in soil, in sunlight, over millennia. You're not broken. You don't need a subscription service to be well. You might just need a garden, a pot, some hot water, and the willingness to reclaim something that was always yours. If this changed how you think about herbs and supplements, so leave a comment telling me which herb you're most curious about. Subscribe if you want more like this, and I'll see you in the next one.